Hello, another amazing episode of Folk on Foot starts in a moment. But first, we need your help. This podcast only keeps going thanks to our brilliant members. They make a small monthly contribution and get great rewards. So, if you love what we do, just go to folkonfoot.com/support us and join them for as little as £3 a month. Every penny we get goes back into making more episodes. That address again, folkonfoot.com/support us. Thank you and enjoy the show. We took the train to York and then we got in a car and drove up the Great North Road, the A1. Took a turning and we're now standing in a field, but it's not just any old field. It's a very old field, which dates back to Neolithic times and early Bronze Age times. And it's one of the most significant ancient monuments in this country. And we're here to meet the author, Rob Cowen, and you'll find out why the North Road is significant to him, and the singer and songwriter Johnny Flynn, no stranger to this podcast. And they're going to take us on a journey back into the past. Listen. I think there was a curlew. Rob, Johnny, good afternoon. Fantastic to see you here in Yorkshire. Near where you live, Rob, actually.
Really close, yeah, really close.
And this is a really special site, the Thornborough Henges. Give us a sort of a quick survey of what it is that we're in the middle of.
Well, you're in the middle of one of the most, if not the most important Neolithic monuments in Britain, I would suggest. 3 henges forming a line that's almost a mile long, 5,000 years old, possibly older, 6,000. And on this site, before the henges, was a Cursus monument that could be 7,000 years old. And so you're looking at things that are 1,000 years older than the pyramids. Built by the Neolithic people, farming people, these great circles that were 680 foot wide, with an entranceway and an exitway, aligned with the midwinter solstice, rising dog star and sunset. And really a significant place of passage and moving through that forms part of an entire processional landscape through Yorkshire and arguably wider up and down the whole of Britain for up to 15,000 years.
It's the most extraordinary thing, isn't it, Johnny?
Yeah.
I mean, look at this photograph here. We're just looking at a notice board which the English heritage people who look after the site have put up. And this shows the excavations that took place. And it looks like there was a processional way with posts in the ground.
Yep. These are about congregation. They're about people coming here, moving through this landscape in a processional way. And, you know, they were about this intersection between season, the hinge of the seasons, from the seasons of death into the season of life. And they were about people communing with the dead, with their ancestors, they think. But these are also amazingly aligned with the stars. If you look at them, there's 1, 2, 3, and the third is on a slight dogleg. And in the olden days, the archaeologists used to say, or the historians used to say, oh, it's a shame they couldn't do a straight line in those days. But actually, now they realize that these 3 absolutely perfectly echo the 3 stars of Orion's belt, which is above them exactly on midwinter solstice. So, again, you're looking at something that's profoundly powerful.
Amazing. And Johnny, these are themes in your music as well, aren't they? Themes about the burial and the cycle of life and so on.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really exciting. I feel like all I've been reading in the last few years is books about archaeology and language, which is, you know, where Rob and I really bond and intersect, and we always have amazing conversations. And then our other friend, Robert McFarlane, who introduced us, is obviously interested in all those things. So it's the best thing to be in the pub with those 2 Robs. You know, hours pass, and it's, yeah, for me, it's this sort of deep time thinking, deep time being a phrase that Rob McFarlane uses a lot. And Rob Cowen explores in his work, and so beautifully in the North Road, the sense of like when you're in a place, an ancient place, a place where footfall has existed for millennia, you are able to tap into a consciousness of your ancestors or the people that came before you, and just to see a horizon, see a landscape, and to imagine what it would be to be one of these people coming through the processional route on midwinter solstice or whenever. So yeah, I find it really powerful.
Shall we walk on? Are we walking towards the southern henge?
We are walking towards the southern henge under a sky of skylarks, you might be able to hear, and a plane. So
definitely a plane.
When we talk about compressing time, this is a great example of time being compressed exactly where we are.
And Johnny's got his guitar, so I'm hoping that there might be some music along the way. But how did you two first meet, Rob?
I'm trying to remember. Do you know, the funny thing was, I think that we first met
You think
probably
it was a
20 years ago. Yeah, I
gig?
think a festival. We played a festival together.
So you were in a band at the time, were you?
I was in a band. There was a big scene at the time in London where I was living. They called it New Folk. Yeah, exactly.
And you.
Yeah, and I think Johnny and I ended up on a bill somewhere. And then we met through Rob, our dear friend Rob McFarlane, on the Rivers Trust Walk.
That's right.
And weirdest thing was Johnny walked in and he had the North Road written on his hand.
Did you?
And I hadn't even... I was
Yeah.
going to give you a proof copy.
Somebody had recommended it to me, or somebody had told me about it coming out, because maybe I was talking about the idea for a story that I wanted to tell, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's mad, isn't it?"
Yeah.
And there you were.
And I had a proof copy to give him.
Yeah.
So the
And-
North Road is the book you wrote, we should be clear,
Yes.
about the North Road, which is the old route of the A1,
Yeah.
and that's a kind of simple way of putting it, because the book's very complicated in it takes us off in all sorts of directions. But
Yeah.
what inspired you to write about that route, that
Uh,
ancient route from north to south?
Well, I've always been interested in old roads. The moment of, if you like, the Damascene moment for me was not far from where we are now. I took part in an archaeological dig when they were widening the A1 into the A1M at Catterick, which is an old Roman town. And the old A1 there runs along Deer Street, which is an ancient Roman road. They thought, oh, look, we know there's loads of archaeology around here, so we're going to put in this little loop and avoid all of that nonsense. But as soon as they put the digger into the ground, they pulled up a human skull. And it was a lesson there that, you know, there are no virgin fields in England and that history is all around us. I went there as a journalist to report on it, really, but ended up uncovering a Roman skull.
That's quite a moment.
It was the weirdest moment, honestly, Matthew, because I had the new A1 on one side of my shoulder, going over my shoulder, 70,000 cars. And then on the other side of me was the newly exposed Roman road they'd found. And then in front of me was this body in the ground. And behind me were the new future overbridges being built. So I was literally held in this moment of past, present and future with a body in front of me and wondering what remains, you know, what endures. And the answer is the road, evidently, because it's still here. And that really started the interest for me in this highway, in this timeline. What happens is, you know, we all drive highways like the A1 or the Great North Road in self-contained, sealed units at 70 miles an hour. And we aren't exposed to the things that these places push through us. We aren't porous. We don't have that thinness that comes from walking in a place. And so it was important to me to trace the line of this highway from London to Edinburgh back to its start and then to walk it. And so over 8 years, that's what I did. I walked and revisited the highway all the way up to Scotland.
Wow. And along the way, you effectively took us on a journey through different periods of history and different things that had happened along the road.
That's right. In my head, the A1, the Great North Road, the Old North Road, the North Road, whatever we call it, is the great mother river of Britain. You know, it's had the flow of people up and down it for 15,000 years, roughly, through that thoroughfare. And I wanted to walk through those times, and I wanted to look at the truth of those histories to a degree, hold them up to the light, because the story the road tells is a very different story in a way to what museums tell us or what you might read in an exhibition, but it's a very real dirt under the nails history that's all around you if you walk through those places. And the great thing about the road is it's a multiplicity. So you have the Tudor road, that you have the coaching age road, you have the modern highway, you have the Roman sections, and and the one we're on now, which is Neolithic. And I wanted to compress time, really, and look at time as sort of slightly outside the way we look at it normally, as something that's alive, and history is something that's alive and lives through us, through this moment too.
Look, we've climbed up now onto the mound which surrounds this southern henge. We should say how big it is. I mean, it's just, it's a big circle here. I don't know if you've ever measured it, Rob.
They're roughly 680 foot wide. What you have to try and imagine is you could fit 2,000 to 3,000 people in here and torchlight. And these things we're standing on, these banks, would have been 4 or 5 meters high, and they're covered in gypsum, which is a mineral that you find in this area that glows white. And that was significant. It took them a lot of effort to cover, look at the size of these things, to cover these in gypsum. Gypsum under moonlight glows the same color as bone, fresh bone, and stars. And not only was this built 3,000 years before the pyramids, but they were constantly looked after for 2,000 years. So we don't have anything that's looked after for 2,000 years. But people came here, and then of course, Bronze Age people came and built their own little burial mounds around them because they recognized the power of the place. And whoever you are, if you come here at night, it's almost impossible not to feel this sense of presence, this proximity of the past in the present. So for me, it feels incredible, to just be here.
Would you sing a song for us, Johnny?
Of course.
In this rather special spot.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should descend so that we're a bit out of the wind.
Yeah, good idea. I'm going to sing a song that Robert Macfarlane and I wrote on a walk, talking of being in a place to absorb something from the past and to walk with ancestors. We conceived of a pilgrimage to Edward Thomas, the great poet who died in the First World War and at the dawn of the Battle of Arras. But we are particularly obsessed with his nature poetry. He lived in a village called Steep, and we were walking up in the Henges above the village in this beautiful woodland, and to a place where he had gone at some point when his children were quite young with a gun, and his wife knew that he was potentially a manic depressive and that he might do something terrible to himself, and she had to stay at home with the children. He went up into the woods and I think had some kind of revelation, and he came home but then signed up to fight, knowing that would do the trick probably. But he was passionate about being enlisted, even though he didn't have to because he was too old for conscription. But there's a wonderful poem that we found of The Path, which is in the poem named The Path, and tracing his steps. So it ties in with Rob's thinking and work, and the chorus of this song, which is called The Song with No Name, after the pub with no name, which is the pub that he drank in near where he lived. The chorus is sadness for the ones who walk before me and joy for the ones who walk beside me. So it's about walking in place with the present and with the past all at the same time. And the pub with no name, when we went there at the end of this day of walking in Edward Thomas's footsteps, it's been really rainy and muddy, and we're drying our boots by the fire and really excited about drinking beer. And the landlady asked what we were up to, and we explained we were doing this pilgrimage to Edward Thomas, and she said, "Oh, I've got his beer tanker here." And she brought out his metal beer tanker, which was all wobbly because it had survived a fire at some point in the mid-20th century. But it was, if you imagine we'd gone on this pilgrimage to find Edward Thomas, that for us was like finding the Holy Grail.
You reached out to touch his hand.
It's literally.
Touch that tanker.
Did you drink from it?
Yeah, we poured some beer in and drank it. Yeah, it was.
That's it.
It's crazy.
That's it.
It was drinking. It was like the blood of Christ. It was like. Anyway, this is the song with no name. of my place, and my lifted foot the breath in my lungs, to my lips my tongue spoke. Back to the trees, to the ease of my heart beat down with the rain down again, and I trod with an ache for the ones who walk before me. Joy for the one who walk beside me. As I search for the solace the hills might give me, heavy the tread of the dead on the way, and the path and the rain and the sun won't gleam, and the ground is made of death and decay, and an echo of the ones who walk before me. Joy for the ones who walk beside me. And the beaches are lifting me, ashes are reaching me, wind is holding me, time is folding me under the trees, down through the lee and on to the path that you came to that day. My heartbeat quickens, my breath it deepens, my footfall falters, your memory sold to the wound of calling your names, balm to the rain. I see you in forest streams. Oh, the distance gives the ask its answer. I rise up tired but continue my journey. There's a light in the window, the first star is here. I find just enough peace to make my way home with sadness for the ones who walk before me. Joy for the ones who walk beside me.
Absolutely amazing, Johnny. That's fantastic.
That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I have to bring in the last bit of Edward Thomas here, because the first words of this book are Edward Thomas.
Of the North Road?
Yeah. And
So that's a perfect link here.
they're
isn't
one
it?
of my favourite lines that he ever wrote, is these. I love roads, the goddesses that dwell far along invisible are my favourite gods. Roads go on while we forget and are forgotten, like a star that shoots and is gone.
Wow.
There you go.
So,
There's the connector.
listen, this is called Folk on Foot. We've got to get walking.
Yeah, good idea.
We've got other henges to explore as well, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
Where are we going? North now?
We're heading north on
Yeah.
the North Road.
Of course.
Let me know if you see a hare.
I know where they will be. Yeah. You can see the line of the North York Moors there,
Oh, yes.
all the way along. The Hambleton
But
Hill.
one of the things that you found out, Rob, on this, well, you didn't find it out, you knew it already, was your family connection to the North Road. You reveal or talk about it in the book.
That's right.
Because your family, were they originally in Doncaster?
The weirdest thing happened is I came back from the dig, and I was obviously, it was like a mosquito bite for me. I couldn't leave it alone, this road, this feeling of the open highway and the open grave and something in that. And I ended up buying eBay out on road books, like old mad road histories, and parish registers and weird things that nobody buys. And then one day my dad emailed and said, "Oh, I think you might be interested in this." And he'd been sent by a cousin a whole cache of photos of my family that I'd never seen, the Cowen family. And I found one with a file name, the Cowen family, 16 French Gate, the Great North Road, Doncaster.
So was this your mother's side of the family, or was it earlier in your dad's side?
This is my dad's side.
Right.
And it turned out that what happened is the man in the middle of that photograph was my great-grandfather, John William Cowen, Bill Cowen. He was born in a mining slum in Nottingham in 1890, and when he was 15 or 16 he went north to the boom town of the South Yorkshire coalfields, which was Doncaster at the time. And he was a coal mine hewer, working in a pit at Bentley Colliery, which was on the old North Road. So anybody leaving Doncaster would have seen its winding tower, and in fact you on your train on the way up would have seen it, because it runs right past where Bentley Colliery was. And he was there, and then he got out in the mines as soon as he could, and he bought shops. Bill had this incredible life, survived mine collapses, had this Peaky Blinders period where a lot of dodgy stuff happened, which I've managed to uncover. And he moved south because he lost everything in the Great Depression. So he took the whole family and moved them down the Great North Road to London, started again in the war, fresh fish and chips, built up a business and retired to Hampstead. And here's where it gets mad, is because on one side of him was living a man called Ivor Jenkins. And Ivor Jenkins is the brother of Richard Burton. And Richard Burton came to live opposite them when he was with Liz Taylor.
And I don't want to say anything, but Johnny Flynn played Richard Burton.
Right, so this is the weird coincidence, right? So this is the other weird coincidence, is Bill Cowen used to drink with Richard Burton in Hampstead pubs like the Hollybush and the Flask and the Wells Tavern all the time. And there's so many stories of him being pulled out of the pubs with Burton, and once or twice a baby-faced Peter O'Toole and Richard Harris. And then when I meet Johnny has just finished playing Richard Burton in the motive in the queue.
Yes.
So there's this really weird moment where...
Family connection.
Yeah, exactly. Which was a bit weird, wasn't it, Johnny?
Were you aware of that bit of history, of Burton's history, Johnny?
Well, I did know about the moving in next to Ivor, because when Richard left his first wife for Elizabeth Taylor in 1963, 62, you know, Ivor and that bit of family were outraged and very protective of Burton's first family and the children. And one night, Richard's daughter from his first marriage came to the play, and at that point in the story of our play in 1964, you know, he's just left her and her mum and her sister for this glamorous Hollywood actress. You know, she was about 6 or 7 years old, so for her it was a time of deep, deep trauma. And she came to watch the play, and she came up to me in the corridor in the backstage at the National afterwards in tears and held me, and she said I was able to see my father as a human being at that time in 1964. At that time that I labelled him a monster for leaving us, I was able to, you helped me see it from his perspective.
How extraordinary.
So that, I mean,
so
yeah.
you helped her to lay to rest the anger that she'd felt.
I mean, I'm not taking credit for that. That, you know,
that
will have been
to her as a result.
But I think, you know, there's this thing called family constellation therapy where you sort of do this kind of role playing and stuff. And in a weird way, the play had been that, where she was able to see these people that were in her life at the time when she was a child and unable to understand things emotionally that were going on, except just to feel this pain and loss and the family being broken up. But to watch the adult's version of the story as an adult was allowing her to say, oh, okay, I forgive that situation, and they really loved each other, Richard and Elizabeth. And so anyway, it's just amazing. But that time in Hampstead I was aware of, and I was 20 years older than Richard, and they had a really amazing but really intense relationship. And it was after a heavy bout of drinking together after that time that it's a bit vague as to what happened, but Ivor fell when they were both quite pissed in Switzerland and was paralysed and died about 6 years later. So anyway, they were very entwined.
Oh, look. statement about Beltane celebrations
Yeah.
just there.
Exactly.
It's a health and safety statement about Beltane celebrations.
Nothing says let's go wild like a health and safety statement. Let's go wild, but do it safely within the confines of our pre-agreed.
Watch out for the magic.
Yeah.
But on this section, there are much more pronounced earthworks here and earth mounds than there were in the southern section that we've just left.
Yeah, that's right.
Are these later?
No, these are
mounds? These are the same period.
But these were better protected, and those ones were more farmed. I think it's fair to say.
Right.
You can still get a sense of the size of the banks here, right?
Yes.
And when you were standing in the centre of this, you would have just been able to see the night sky, really, when they're full height. So you'd have had this massive open portal above you. And significant also is that the shape of these henges as circles is where we are now, geologically, is a place where sinkholes appear randomly, quite large. And they always have through history. And that again is to do with the gypsum, which just dissolves under rain, and just suddenly you get these perfect circular holes that drop. So there's always been this idea that perhaps what they were building here was these portals to the underworld too, which I find interesting as a concept.
Johnny, it's raining. Would you care to sing while it's raining?
Sure.
Do you mind?
Yeah.
I'm just worried about the rain and the gypsum in case Johnny disappears down a sinkhole while he's singing.
I think Johnny would like that.
Orpheus.
Yeah. Johnny, you should come and do a tour here.
The Henge.
One night that henge, one night this henge.
My friend's got a band called Henge. They're a heavy metal band.
Oh, really?
It'd be me and them.
Yeah.
Johnny and the Henge.
Yeah.
Are you going to do murmuration? Yeah.
Shall I do murmuration?
You can see starling murmurations around here. This is exactly where they come down that line and go down to the Ripon wetlands, because there's lots of wetlands here. In fact, Nosterfield Nature Reserve is just behind us there, and there are starling murmurations over that. So you're standing here in winter, you would see the murmurations, so this is a perfect place for it.
Oh, the grass is long in the valley, my love, and there we'll go to lie. When the hawk is high above the house front, he guards all of the blue sky. When winter comes and the nights are cold, I'll take your hand to hold. I dreamed I flew with the saints last night. I know them all by wingside. And up there it just doesn't count for naught whether you're clever or wise. When everyone is talking at the very same time, I can still hear your voice, my dear. Genesius the actor and Agnes the room are two of the truest to fly. I know she's a stout-heart, and though he had a full start, there's a promise of truth in his eyes. This is stout-heart catches the rain. This is stout-heart that feels the pain. This is stout-heart that loves again. It's a stout-heart. It's a stout-heart. And everyone goes against the wind sometimes when the shipping forecast's wrong. Say we were landlocked and stuck to this soil. Guess they never heard of us winged throng. Let's gather us up to the heavens above, or we can always come back, my love. Yeah, we can always come back, my love.
Fantastic, thank you so much.
That's amazing.
Thank you, that was brilliant.
So good.
What a great place to sing it.
Yeah.
Bird song all around.
I've got a starling poem. Am I supposed to read a starling poem?
Would you like to read the starling poem?
Yeah, I've brought the starling poem.
That would be fantastic.
This would fit with the... It almost seems designed, Matthew, if we do this, doesn't it?
You'd feel like there was a plan, wouldn't you? From your collection, The Heeding, what are you going to read?
I'm going to read a poem I originally wrote for a book called Letters to the Earth about species loss. And this one is about the starling, which has always been a beautiful bird to me, a most incredible bird, but a bird that we looked at as a pest and as a menace and a problem because they messed up our cars and things like that, and actually in serious decline. But yet the murmurations that you see in England for free in winter are I think the most incredible natural spectacle you can witness. They are incredible things to see. Millions of birds shape-shifting and moving. So I wrote this about loss. Starling, we forget that you were once as common as coal, little coal blackbird, stumpy, dumpy, the wire-dotter pylon swarmer, camped out on our ledges and trees, screaming England's towns down, noisy as a classroom on the last day of term. We forget that you once shimmered through frozen air, ripple bird, shapeshifter, dusk dancer, murmurer, skywriter, endlessly becoming in the darkening gold. Animals, patterns, waves, and how we, wonder-struck, witnessed a nightly unity against death. We forget that you stayed true, little loyal bird, roof flocker, aerial clinger, when the rest up and left, and how you carried the constellations in your feathers, iridescent purples, greens and blues, the rare hues of petrol and water. We forget that you were once as common as coal, little coal blackbird, that your blackening of streets and chimney whistles, your smoke like swirling in the skies was an olive branch from heaven. Yet, in the mad pursuit of a spotless life, we believed you plague. We forget that in loss, it's the little things that leave the largest holes, and that all along you were drawing patterns to live by, community bird, collaborator, congregator, conversation bird, you, acceptor bird, come together bird, crowd bird, YOLO bird, the dance like no one's watching bird over town and field and city and sea, beauty beyond compare bird, modest bird, youth bird, joy bird. We forget that you were once as common as coal, and that fact makes your scarcity more keenly felt. How losing you is devastating a hole both in sky and soul, for it signifies a greater loss in us.
Behind us actually now, there's a bright yellow field of rape, and then we're walking across a field of crops. What is this crop?
This is a wheat.
A wheat field on a footpath just carved between the two sides of the wheat coming up. Another field of rape over there,
Yeah.
bright yellow ahead of us, and we're heading towards the A1 now, aren't we?
We are.
We're heading towards a view overlooking the A1, and this path goes straight as an arrow across the field, and the Henges are away behind us now, aren't they?
That's
Rob?
right.
Yeah.
And what you're looking at here, when we get to this point here, we'll stop and you can see that North York Moors is like a grounded thunderhead on the horizon, runs all the way along the horizon. And beyond that is the coast and Whitby, and between us and that is the Vale of Mowbray, where the A1 and all the great thoroughfares and routeways of Britain have run through since time immemorial. So there's a reason why, and that's because geology dictated that this would be the place of passage, because that was the dry ridge of this area. So people always moved along it. Mesolithic hunter-gatherers, Neolithic people, Bronze Age, Iron Age. The Romans built their road exactly along the same ancient trackways. Then that became the medieval trackways and pilgrim routes. That became the coaching age. That became the highway, the motorway. And all of that is in front of us, in the plain in front of us. So sometimes when you see the A1 like that, you understand it's more like a wire that's been twisted too many times, and you can see all the separate bits of wire inside it. A multiplicity in one.
Look at that over there.
So that's
that is
the Yorkshire
gorgeous.
Dales. There, that ridge. So you are right between these two ridges. You see, you've got the North York Moors and the Yorkshire Dales, and that's why this land corridor is so important.
And the ground here is quite flat, isn't it?
Exactly.
So we see then we can see as far as those ridges because there's nothing in between
That's right.
us and them.
It's perfect. If you put a finger on London and try and draw a line up to Edinburgh that avoids the major hills and water courses as much as possible, you're tracing the Great North Road because it's a logical line.
Johnny, will you sing us a song here?
Sure. I've got to tell you a story about one of the last times I performed this song, which is about a year ago in this festival in Ireland. And the song's called The Ghost of O'Donoghue, and I wrote it in Ireland in January 2008. And I remember exactly where I was because I was on tour it was I think our first tour of Ireland. I'd seen a painting in the National Gallery of Ireland in Dublin when we were setting off that I thought was called The Ghost of O'Donoghue, and it was this myth about a lake and this ghost that haunts the lake and the women of this community. And I wrote this song, and it was about crossing Ireland at this time, and it's about journeying and the stories coming up from the past. And then I went back to find the painting, and what I found since is that it doesn't exist. See, I somehow created a kind of false memory of this thing. I don't know
What you'd imagined the painting.
I wasn't that heavily into
Mushrooms or anything.
psychedelics at the time. But it was really weird. And then
So what you had a strong memory of having seen this painting.
I remember it in my mind's eye now, and it was so powerful, the story that I received from it. Anyway, I went back to find it, and I went through the archives, and I was like, I need to find the thing. All I can find online is stuff about the song, which is really annoying. So anyway, as far as I know, it doesn't...
So you've crowded the painting out.
Yeah, it doesn't exist. And then I played this song at a festival in Ireland, and do you know a writer who died last year called Monken McGann, who's one of my heroes. Anyway, he came up to me after this performance in Ireland, and he went, I love that song about John O'Donoghue. I was like, I don't think I've got a song about John. Yeah, The Ghost of O'Donoghue, it's about John. I was like, what? It was weird because I didn't know of John O'Donoghue in 2008, but he's since become like one of my kind of prophets and big. I read him almost every day. He's become kind of totemic for me. He's like, trust me, it's about John O'Donoghue. And then he said, when did you write the song? Like January 2008. He said, that was the month John died.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. It's called The Ghost of O'Donoghue.
Strange.
There you go. It's weird.
That is very strange.
One of Monken's great mentors.
It's a song I also listened to a lot when I was walking the road. Literally walking, I was listening to this song a lot. Because it just speaks to that feeling of voices rising from the fields, and the paths.
Well, it's also the song, inadvertently, it's the song that will have brought us together because it's the song that Rob was listening to while he was writing The Old Ways, which is the book I was reading.
Robert McFarlane's right, yeah. He says it's his favourite Johnny Flynn song, I think.
He fell down an ice crevice in the Alps whilst climbing a mountain around that same time, and he says he had to listen to it to sort of calm down because he really nearly died in this crevice.
So it's like Valium.
Yeah,
It's a Valium song.
You can't take it at the same time as paracetamol. Calendar. These are the dates, you know where you'll be, you won't know what you'll see. Roots my chain, so all that remains is a bowl from place to place. We left our homes in the spring sunshine. Things came alive when I knew they weren't mine. Falling in line didn't matter at all. We knew we'd go and we each heard the call. This is a calendar, these are the dates. You know you'll be, you won't know what you'll see. The roots might change, so all that remains is a bowl from place to place. Pylons found fault lines to run through the heart of the land, beat with odd fits and starts, so they ran around the eldest and grey of the hills, so as to let the old die without power or pills. This is a calendar, these are the dates. You know we'll be, you won't know what you'll see. My chain, so all that remains is a bowl from place to place. Dublin to Cork, though you never heard it told, there's a line of good men with eyes wet and bold, where they weep for the crows, bearing twigs for the nest, changing the shape of the trees they love best. Calendar, these are the dates. You know we'll be, you won't know what you'll see. The roots might change, so all that remains is a bowl from place to place. The ghost of O'Donoghue scared not the lad. Wait, how's it go? The ghost of O'Donoghue scared not the lad. Oh God.
From the rector.
Yeah. The ghost of O'Donoghue scared not the lad. The ghost of O'Donoghue scared not the lad.
With the death respect lost.
Oh, yeah, the ghost of O'Donoghue scared not the lad. Desert respect lost the smile he'd worn, glad, sat quite chief and forlorn, and pitched with respect to escaped all exhaustions and prayers from the rector, and with glancing devout pulled a frown from his sack, weighed with loaves from the oven and ale from the rack. These are the days, you know we'll be, you won't know what you'll see. Roots might change, so all that remains is a bowl from place to place. In the last days of my life, oh, I won't know whether to laugh or in the last days of my life, oh, I won't know whether to laugh or cry. In the last days of my life, oh, I won't know whether to laugh or cry. Thanks. Sorry about that.
just experienced a little bit of the folk on foot magic.
Yeah.
That was great.
Beautiful.
That was great.
Beautiful.
You want some hedge garlic?
Oh yeah.
It's good for you. It's actually mustard. Have you had this?
No.
Come on, Bannister. Really peppery. It's absolutely delicious and it cleanses your blood.
Okay.
It's actually called hedge garlic, but it's a mustard. It's a wild mustard.
The flowers are good.
Where are we going to now, Rob?
We're going back towards the Thornborough Henges. We're going to finish in the last henge, which is the wooded henge. It wasn't made of wood or anything, it's just, it was protected because it was owned by somebody and they let the trees grow, and that's actually, weirdly, protected the henge the best, so it's the best preserved one. But it also has this amazing atmosphere, and we're going to go play a last song in there.
I'm interested, Rob, to talk to you a little bit about the role of music in your life.
Yeah.
So you mentioned earlier on that you're in a band. How does music now relate to your life?
Music's always been everything to me, music and words. I was always playing in bands, and then I was part of a Leeds scene, I guess you'd call it. We had a great pub in Leeds called the Duchess of York, where Nirvana played in 1989. We slept in the room upstairs, and Oasis, and we used to play gigs in there along with loads of bands that, I mean, you played there.
Have you played there, Johnny?
Yeah. You know, we did the circuits, we played all over London, and the thing was the industry was in a very difficult place around 2009, 2010, and I was emerging as a writer at that point, and I kind of had to make a decision, because unlike Johnny, who just seems to be a Renaissance man with everything, if I spend a day writing music, I can't then spend a night writing books. I'm just drained out. So I made a deal with the band. I was in a great band with great musicians, really, really brilliant. And I said, look, I want to do an album. And we actually made a double album, which kind of summed up all of my music. And it's still on Spotify. Rob Cowen, Saturday Night and Sunday Morning, the album's called.
I've got to look it up.
You have to look it up. It's like a big Saturday night.
That's not a hare.
That's a bunny. That's a bunny.
A rabbit.
It's like a big Saturday night rock and roll album, and then a really low, dark Sunday morning album, and the whole thing worked as a story. And I'm still really proud of it. I still think it's a great piece of writing from me. But the other thing that's crucial about it is, when I first started writing books, I had to think of them as records, as making an album, because the idea of writing a book seems so grand and overblown that I couldn't consider it. I couldn't even consider the idea of it. So I just said to myself, well, it's just like making an album. You're going to go track to track, and you're going to have these different energies in each track. You don't start an album at one BPM or one tone or one chord and end it on the same. They change. The sequencing of an album is important. And if you ever want to write a book, just think of it like a record. Just think, well, I'll do the first track first. But I don't need that to be exactly the same as the next chapter or the next track. It can be completely different.
Johnny, how do you balance the different parts of your life? Because, I mean, Rob says you're a Renaissance man, but, you know, you do have different creative activities going on. Do they exist in parallel, or do you have to stop one and start the other?
I think I'm more of a kick bollock scramble man myself. I'm basically running around in a panic trying to remember where I'm supposed to be most of the time, but I'm enjoying it all.
I think the thing about you that's different is there's no kind of concession. Like, it's not like, oh, he's quite good at music, but he's better at acting, or he's better at music, he's not good at acting. You're really brilliant at both, and at writing. And is it that it comes from the same? Like, I wonder whether it's just iterations of the well that is Johnny Flynn, right?
That's very kind. I don't know about that. I never felt very good at screen acting when I started doing it, but it's one of those things that until you've done your 10,000 hours, it's impossible to feel comfortable in that environment or learn what the medium is and tell that story. But I feel like now, just through having had that experience, I get to exercise and practice that, and it's a slightly different skill, but it is another way of communicating and speaking and treading into people's minds somehow, and that's the same throughout all the things that I do. It's how to tell this story with the tools that you have in that medium.
There is an empathy at the heart of all of it. whether that's an empathy with an old song and the people who are singing it or people who wrote it, or whether it's an empathy with something that you've done or a part. Because I think that's the thing that I try and, if I get asked about writing, is empathy. You know, writing is really just being able to understand what it was like or what something is like from a different perspective, and then and somehow capture that, you know.
I think of it, as empathy, but it's sort of like really extreme listening. So if on stage, I feel like sometimes 95% of my attention is on listening to the audience, so that I'm moving with them, so that I know what to produce and ride that wave of when they need a beat, when they need a laugh, when they need a pause, when they need the truth, when they, you know.
Yeah.
But that's empathy in that sense.
So we're just stepping off this track into a wood now, a bluebell wood, really carpeted in blue.
This is the final henge, this is the wooded henge, and we have a bank to our left and right running all the way around, but you could have here clearly the ditch, and then that would be the central platform that you would process through. And if we walk around, you can see the entrance and exit ways quite clearly.
So this is the third of the circles.
This is the third
on this
henge.
site.
Yeah, third henge, which basically has been preserved by virtue of the fact that it was wooded and left alone. And so it wasn't farmed. And everything here is as close to as it was 5,000 years ago.
And carpeted with this wonderful blue.
With this incredible...
Who could smell?
Blue, yeah.
Yeah.
And we should walk round and find our way in on the proper entranceway.
Following in the footsteps of people from 4,000 or 5,000 years BC, maybe?
Exactly. Well, 3,000 to 4,000 years BC. 5,000 years from now, roughly. And the archaeologists suspect that these henges had giant stone, almost menhirs, in the middle of them as well.
A bit like Stonehenge.
Yeah, similar to Stonehenge, and in many cases those were stolen. One of the early records of the henges, an antiquarian actually recorded seeing the stones still, but a few decades later they'd been stolen and used in walls and gateposts and things like that. So,
What are these pink flowers here?
that's campion. This is the wildflower called campion, and you've got the hedge garlic that we tried before, and then the bluebells, and then dog's mercury here. And then we walk along this. This is an entranceway in here, and we process into the middle bit.
Lots of bird life in here as well.
Amazing wildlife in here. So you are literally following the footsteps now of what people did for thousands of years. And importantly, they came and then they passed through, they processed through. There's something about that passing through which speaks to our life and our road, right? You know, the road runs through us as much as we travel the road, and somehow this processing through this place spoke to that, the journey of life. Johnny, will you just tell us what you're going to sing?
This is a song called Burial Blessing that was written with Robert McFarlane, another one that we co-wrote the words for, and then we recorded it in our friend Cosmo Sheldrake's house, where he was just building a studio, and we went and recorded bits of it in a Neolithic burial chamber there where he lives in the West Country, and the chamber is known as Hetty Pegler's Tump because the landowner's wife in the 18th century was called Hetty Pegler, but it's nothing to do with the original. But it's quite apt to be in another Neolithic site and to evoke those ghosts and that deep time. So here we go.
by the sea. Bury me under the open air. Bury me in the roots of a tree. Oh, bury me with ochre, cords or ivy. Bury me without worry or sorrow or envy. White stones, don't bury me with ochre, cords or ivy. Be my hand on the oar to row to eternity. I will still be with you in the underflow, in the undertow. By you in the fox's eye, in the seabird's cry, in the city sky. I must go now for the great woods. Call me westwards, call me westwards. Be not afraid. Sing and pray, cry and sway as I enter the shade. Sing and pray, cry and sway as I move away. Be not afraid. Hey!
Lovely, John.
That was fantastic. What a perfect place to hear that song, Johnny. Can I just say, this is an amazing end to what's been an absorbing and fascinating afternoon. We've learned so much and we've seen so many beautiful sights. So, Johnny and Rob, thank you so much for joining us on Folk on Foot.
Thank you. Real pleasure.
It's been
Thanks
really gorgeous. Yeah. Gorgeous
Thanks for having
afternoon.
us.
Very special.
If you enjoyed this episode, you'll love our back catalogue featuring countless wonderful walks with top artists like Johnny Flynn and Robert McFarlane, The Unthanks, Goblin Band, Chris Packham and Martin Simpson, Eliza Carthy, Corrine Polwart, Richard Thompson, and many, many more. Do have a listen. And please consider joining our merry band of members who make a small monthly contribution and get great rewards. These include access to our ever-expanding Folk on Foot on Film archive of exclusive songs shot on location on our travels. You'll also get all our episodes ad-free. To sign up, go to folkonfoot.com/support-us. That's folkonfoot.com/support-us. It's the only way to make sure the fantastic Folk on Foot episodes keep coming. So thank you.